Hi, I've struggled with today's talk, to be honest. I wasn't sure what to talk about, and that got me thinking because normally when I'm working with clients, quite often after a couple of sessions, they'll come in and they'll say, I don't know what to talk about today, Tony, and I know that that's going to be the best session. And the reason I say that is because quite often when I'm working with people, people come in with a story. You know, it's their story, and the story's really important. But once the story's gone, we're actually left with the real stuff underneath. You know, the story's finished, they've finished telling their stories, and now all that's left is what's real. And I'm not saying, when I say that, I don't mean that the story's not real. I was just listening to somebody talking and telling their story, and it was really inspirational. But the more that this person went on, the more that I started to think, do you know what, this is just a story. And the story is the thing that shapes us all through our lives, our upbringing. You know, I've spoke about this before, our parents, school, all the things that happen to us do shape us. There's no doubt about that. But if you think about it, it's just a story, you know, and we can change the story. Just before starting this talk, I remember thinking, you know, part of my own story, I remember just one example being at school, being in the junior school. I must have been maybe 7, 8, 9, I don't know, around that sort of age. And I remember getting the cane off a teacher in front of the whole class because I got a capital letter wrong. Things have changed. School, I can imagine one of my kids having come home from school and saying to me, Dad, I got the cane today in front of the whole class because I got a capital letter wrong. I wouldn't have liked to have been that teacher. I can tell you that. But when I was at school, it was different. But what I took from that at that age was, again, not being good enough, not being very intelligent, because I didn't know the difference between a capital letter. It was a letter T, I'll never forget it. It was a letter T. I didn't know the difference between a capital T and a small t. And getting the cane for that and feeling stupid, feeling embarrassed, adding yet again another belief that I wasn't very intelligent. And that became part of my story, you know, and I lived up to that story. I told myself that story again and again and again and again. And I look at it now and I think, but that's not true. You know, that teacher could have been having a bad day. She was a miserable cow anyway. She might not have liked me for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know what was going on in her head. But because a teacher decides to smack a kid or give a kid a cane or give me the cane in front of the rest of the class, does that mean I'm stupid? I would sort of put it the other way around now. Does that mean I'm not very intelligent? Does that mean that I'm not good enough? It sort of does if I attach that story to it. So I've entitled this clip Once Upon a Time because I've realised, listening to people again and again and again and again, we keep telling ourselves the same old story over and over and over again. We marinate in the story, we love the story on this way because this happened, that happened. It could be good or bad, but the point that I want to get across here is it's just a story. You know, we can't change the things that happen to us. I can't change the fact that that teacher caned me. That was just one example of my school life, but I can change the story that I attach to it. You know, did it mean the things that I've just said, or did it mean something completely different? You know, I look back on my life now and I think it means something completely different to me now. You know, so, and I'm not having a go at teachers here. My daughter's a teacher. I love teachers. It must be one of the hardest professions in the world. You know, I didn't love my own school teachers, to be honest. But like I said, things were different then. I think it's completely turned around and sort of gone too far the other way now. Teachers don't seem to have any powers. I'm getting into some political stuff here. But what I really wanted to say was, you can change your story. It's just a story. And sometimes we even need to kill the story. You know, just start living by a different story. You know, if you look at your life as a book, turn over the page, start a new chapter, and from today, right, this is my story. This is how I live my life, because that's really powerful. You know, so stop telling ourselves the same old story. Change the story. That's if you want to, or carry on telling yourself the same old story. Carry on telling yourself, you know, if you're happy with it, or even if you're not happy with it, but you're actually at some level being happy, being a victim, stay in the story, you know, that's fine. But if you work with somebody like me, you know, it's my job to help you to change your story. So Thanks for listening once again. Enjoy the rest of your day and change the story. It's just a story. Change the story, and we all know how the story ends anyway. It's what we do between now and the end. So enjoy it. Write an adventure. Write a comedy. You know, change it. Change your story. Enjoy it. Thank you.